Welcome to this ZBrush lesson on the transpose line. Now, the transpose line is up here at the very top. There is the move, scale, and rotate. These are set to the usual W, E, and R hotkeys. These three buttons will allow you to do a lot of different manipulation. It has a lot more than your typical transpose or translate tools that are in 3D. When you click on one of these, we'll start with the move tool to start off with. I'm actually going to be going over two sections in this video. One section will be going over the basics of using the transpose line, and the second part of it will be going over more advanced features that are within the transpose. So, starting with the basic features. So let's take a look at it. You have three different circles on this line, plus a little white one. We'll just kind of rotate around here. And if you hover over the inside, you'll see different inside rings. There's red ones on the ends and a white one in the very center. So basic moving this transpose line around, you want to grab the middle circle. Just click on that and it will drag the entire transpose line wherever you want it to be. If you click on the end ones, it's only going to move one end and use the other point as an anchor. Also, while you're drawing out these lines, it's going to be just kind of free form unless you hold shift. So moving these outside circles will allow you to move the transpose line itself. If you want to actually manipulate your objects, you need to use the inside circles. So let's use one of these end pieces. So the one that is red here. If I start moving that around, it's going to start stretching the entire thing. Not just moving it, but using this as a move anchor point and move stretching it across. If I use the middle one, this is going to do your typical sort of move. The center circle of the move transpose. Can move it all around. And that's actually moving versus when I'm moving my canvas around, I'm just kind of moving my view. We'll add another object in here just so you can definitely see that it's actually moving versus when I'm just moving my view. Alright, hide that. So now, before we move on to the scale and rotate tools, we'll learn a bit more about the actual transpose line itself. There's a couple different more circles. So the white circle at the end here, this, if you click on that, it's going to center it to your object. So you can see it's getting the exact center. It might not be perfectly straight to that center, but it will at least find the center, and then you can rotate around and snap it. So this is just going to change the angle that your transpose line is going on. So let's say I want to go on the green or y-axis. Click on that and it's going to switch. Go back on the x-axis or the z. Just kind of color coded your general x, y, and z. You can also move these around, and if you hold down shift, it's going to snap that at different angles and up and down. So you have a couple different ways you can do that. You can rotate your view around and make sure that's straight. So sometimes it's off like this. It looks like it's straight, but when you go to a different view, it is not actually. So just grab this outer circle at the end here, hold down shift, and it will start snapping. Also, if you want to reposition it, let's say I want to position it on my geometry. If I click and drag, it's going to automatically move my transpose to that new position whenever I click on the mesh. And it's going to snap to different vertices on that mesh. So these are cubes that happen to have little vertices in the very center, so it can snap to the center or to the edges and corners and such. Along with just snapping in general, when you click and drag, you can click directly on the mesh just once instead of clicking and dragging, and that's going to align to the normal of that object. So it's just going to be straight out from whatever face you clicked on. As you can see here. You can also use this transpose line with symmetry on, so I'll just hit X on my keyboard. Now we'll turn on symmetry, and this is actually not a centered object right now, so I'll turn on the sphere. If I have symmetry on here, you can see the line, and it will update whatever one you're hovering over. So if I start moving this, it's going to stretch it from the center line outwards. It's a nice way to get a capsule and other such shapes that you need to get. One other handy feature is kind of the quick move. If I just have the transpose tool open and hold Alt, I can start moving my object based on screen space. So if I have it at an angle here, it's going to start moving way off base. So there, and it's off in the distance a little bit. However, if I have my view perfectly snapped here and start moving it, it's going to continue to be in that nice space. There we go. It also ignores your symmetry line, so beware. So that's enough of this object. Let's actually go to scaling instead of move. I'm going to turn symmetry off. And the basics of the scale transpose line work the same. Still snaps to your different objects, all that good stuff. But what it does from the middle to outer circles is different. So let's just grab this outer one. It's going to use the first point over here. If I'm grabbing this N red circle as its anchor point and going to scale it from there. So let's try this. Scaling. If I grab the middle one, that one is going to kind of skew it on the opposite angle. So since this is going up and down, it's going to be scaling it in more of a diamond shape. But if I had my transpose line going like this, it's going to scale it up and down. So it's just going to start skewing it perpendicular to whatever line that you have drawn. So typically I am just using the end circle, so this is my anchor point over here, and it's just scaling up. I'll often use this center to the object button, so then I can scale it uniformly. So that's all on the scale tool. Let's switch to the rotate tool. Again, just hitting R on your keyboard, or just click the top piece over here. So the rotate, same deal. This is going to be the anchor point, and this other one will be where I'm rotating. So I can set my anchor point at any place here. Let's center it, and we'll make sure this is centered, and rotate around to wherever. And I can also hold Shift while I'm doing this to snap at different angles if I want to as well. So now what about the middle one? What does that one do? Let's see. If I put my point here, it's actually going to make it perfectly horizontal to the line that I drew. So that is the basics of the transpose line. You can do a lot with this, and I'll go into the more advanced options that you have with transpose.